Cool.
Cool.
Hey everyone!
Hello.
Welcome back again to the Rantsbicon channel.
How's it going? I'm wearing comfy socks today.
Comfy
They're thick and woolly, and I can't wear them with my shoes, but when I'm at home, I'm feeling pretty glorious.
I'm wearing my own socks instead of Richard's. Cause...
Bring it back.
Charming!
I mean, they smell great.
As you all know full well, Rantsby and I are in a relationship.
If you don't know that, then what are you doing with your life?
We are in fact engaged. And we've been together for 2 years and...
Nearly 10 months?
Nearly 10 months,
Nearly 10
yeah.
months, yeah.
So quite a while.
Quite a while. That's nearly 34 months.
Yeah.
Until...
But for most of that time, we were in a long-distance relationship.
Yep, we were approximately 200 miles apart. I was here in Glasgow and Rebicon was in Preston and Wigan.
Yeah, Preston when we started dating, and then I moved back to Wigan a few months after.
Still quite a ways away though. It's like 3 hours on a megabus and like 2 something hours on a train.
Yeah.
Which isn't that bad really, but when you need to wait weeks, you know, between seeing them, you know, that journey feels like a hell of a lot longer than 3 hours and 2 hours.
So we just wanted to talk about that and how difficult it was, despite it looking piss easy on every social media we had.
I feel like we didn't ever broadcast the not so easy, more difficult parts of it. Like with any relationship, it's difficult, but you know, more often than not, you know, those problems we dealt with in the same room.
Yeah.
Whereas long distance brings its own unique set of problems, which are a lot harder to resolve because you only have things like Skype and text or WhatsApp or whatever to get in touch with the other person.
Exactly.
And even if you're like on a face-to-face thing, like you're on Skype, so it's not always easy to have like a proper, serious talk about something.
Yeah, because you can't cuddle in the end.
No, like if you argue, then make up. It's like again, like there's no hug at the end.
No.
It's just like, so we chill.
Yeah, we're cool.
We're chill.
Probably one of the most difficult things we've been through.
Yes.
But
and I've been through childbirth.
It's one of the most difficult things that we've been through so far, but it's all the same been so worth it.
Aye, absolutely.
Because now we're living together.
Yep.
Not in our own place just yet.
Not yet. We're working on that, and there'll be a video all about that later. Later.
But we've gotten to where we are, and we're very happy.
Yep.
So
yeah,
let's talk about the past and how
yes.
difficult and shitty it was.
I kind of done long distance before. It never really worked out. Well, it never worked out with anyone I was with before. So I went into this knowing it would be difficult, but I knew you'd be worth it. But still, very, very difficult and very, very testing. And it was just the not being able to see you whenever I wanted to. Kind of thing. Like all of my friends who are in relationships at that time, even before, would always be with someone who lived like 10 minutes on the road, or like a local bus ride away. So the longest they need to wait to see their partner is like half an hour, or at the very, very most like 1 day.
Yeah.
Whereas with us, it'd be like weeks or sometimes even months without actually being able to see each other, which is, I think this, I don't know if this is our first swear, I can't remember not, but it was fucking horrible.
I think I swore about 2 minutes before, so
Did you?
It's fine.
Alright, well in that case I'll say again, it was fucking horrible. Awful. But in a weird kind of way, long distance, because it gives its own set of like things to overcome and problems to deal with. It's a test of whether or not a couple can work as a couple. Like if a couple can get through 2+ years of long distance, they can pretty much get through anything.
Yeah. I'd say it was very difficult because I was in the middle of my university degree, So I was under a lot of pressure then to do loads of projects and stuff, but I still tried to make the time to call you. Like when I was doing the feature film project, I'd call you every time I was on the way home.
Yep.
To tell you how everything was, and you'd tell me how work was and stuff. And even at the beginning of our relationship, neither of us had a job at the time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention that later on actually, yeah. At the start, neither of us were working, so we couldn't always afford the travel, which, unless you plan ahead, can be a little bit pricey, and we'll get to that later on too, because we had a few questions about that, which we'll answer later on. But yeah, that didn't help either. That was another thing, that is like kind of budget, because unlike you, I was actually on job seekers allowance, which I'm not afraid to admit. People need to do it. I was on the dole for a couple of months, and that definitely made things difficult because you need to basically abide by their schedule, be there when they want you to be there. And there was a point where I was on this new program that they worked up to their geniuses, where I had to go in to the job centre every single day for half an hour and look for jobs and sign on. If I missed one day, I would lose my benefits and have no money, and I wanted to go see Rebecca. So I had to fib a few times. I had to say I had an interview that was in Preston, and they actually fell for it. Get around, I've got a job now.
As for me, I didn't have a job, but I had my university maintenance money. But I also was renting out a house for the year, and most of my money went towards that. So I just about scraped through for food and stuff. So it seemed near enough impossible at the beginning for our relationship to work, but somehow it just did. It just worked out.
We got lucky.
We saw each other. I think it was when we first got together. We saw each other like every 2 weeks or so.
We somehow managed to pull that off.
Yeah, we somehow managed to pull that off for some reason.
I think it's just, I didn't anticipate now we had like very little money. We couldn't really do a lot while we were there, so we'd basically just kind of hang out in the flat that you were renting and just kind of laze about, which was fine.
We made the most of it.
We made the most of the time we had. It wasn't until much later on we actually go and do stuff at there, like go see films or dinner or things like that. But that definitely wasn't the easiest start to things.
No.
Definitely not. But things improved, and one thing that being in this relationship has taught me is that when things seem difficult, if we're going through a particularly rough patch of any description, it will always find a way to work itself out. Something will happen, and you'll be able to like resolve that situation in some way. If it's a case of like money, you can't go travelling to go see them, or you're stuck or something. Like whatever might happen, something will actually come along. If it's meant to happen, basically,
it will happen.
It'll happen for you. And I think we've been incredibly fortunate to be where we are right now.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of couples, even when they're like not long distance, don't last this long. It's unfortunate, but that happens. I think we've been quite lucky to survive. Well, not survive, but like,
just get through.
Yeah, not to kind of stay committed to this and not let the distance and the difficulties kind of get the better of us.
One of the difficult stages of our relationship, I'd say, was like a few months in where I was working on the feature film. I didn't see you for like 5 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I didn't have the time to talk to you properly. I just had the phone calls home and stuff. That was really difficult because we couldn't spend any time with each other until it was wrapped. And I was heavily focused on that for a good few weeks. But you were still there for me and I was still there for you throughout that. And when you came down to the wrap party, it was kind of like we were never apart.
That's another thing. But like we could be away from each other for months, and then we meet up again, and then it's like we just pick up where we left off from the last time, basically. Yeah. Which I've always liked about us.
It's always been quite an adventure, our relationship, because we only have like a few days at a time to see each other, so we'd make the most of that time and go on little adventures, even if it's just going around a park or just filming a video together or just going around the city for a little bit and then just coming back and eating food together.
Basically just trying to cram as much stuff as you could into those few days, so by the end of it you're like exhausted.
And if you couldn't, that was fine. You just spend all day in bed just cuddling and watching films.
Just cuddling.
Yeah.
don't have sex, you'll get pregnant and you die. Is that the quote?
That is the quote,
Yes.
but why did you have
I've
to
never,
say
I've
that?
never seen the film. I've never seen the film.
You've never seen Mean Girls?
You know this about me.
Really?
I only know it because whenever it's on TV, everybody, and
Right.
I mean everybody on Twitter quotes it, even now, in 2016.
We need to watch that then.
Do we? I feel like I've seen it already, to be honest with you.
Just so you can say you've seen it.
Okay, here's the next big hurdle that we've got to face. I haven't seen Mean Girls, but this one hasn't seen Pulp Fiction. See? You work on things and you resolve them. Watch Pulp Fiction with me.
I've said that for months that we should watch it.
Okay.
Anyway, what was my point before we got fucking
I've
lost?
forgotten.
He does this to me all the time.
I have
Where
no idea. what you
he'll
mean.
interrupt me and I lose track of everything that I've just said.
I like eggs. Do you like eggs?
Oh, shut up. Obviously, it got to a point when long distance became difficult. I'd say that was about 2 years in to our
It
relationship.
was really getting a bit of a strain.
We
at
were
that point.
having little arguments about not communicating.
Stupid things. Like,
Stupid things.
At that point, it was getting to that time where, you know, it's like you can only hold out for so long before things like this, like the stress of it all, can really get to you. No matter how strong a person you might be, like 2 years is a long time to kind of deal with this like strain. And at that point, it really was like putting a strain on the relationship, because again, like we have like death arguments and little tiffs that we wouldn't have before, because it was working on our last nerve, basically.
Also, we were both working, our hours increased and the days we were working changed, so they weren't really matching what days we had off and what days we could have together. So when we did visit each other, most of the time we were working in the first place, so we only had a few hours together.
Yeah.
So it got very difficult, which is when I decided to move up here permanently, and it was around January of this year I started applying for jobs. I had to apply for a transfer with the company I work for, but there was lots of times where I wouldn't hear back, but it got more difficult mentally when I kept getting no's from people. So then I just got really, really sad because I didn't think I'd ever get up here. That is until August time, when it was about a week before we were going to Paris together.
But
No, it wasn't even a week.
2
It was
weeks,
like
2 or 3 weeks before.
no, it wasn't even that. It was like 3 days before we were going to Paris.
Really, that's
I got a phone call.
it was actually. Sorry.
I got a phone call from the people I now work for, asking me to do a video, a phone call interview, just to tell them what I do currently and what I'll be able to do. And within about 4 or 5 hours after that phone call, I got offered the job. So then I told my family that I was moving here and I got the job. I told you, and then we went to Paris, and then a few days later...
This is what I was saying about before, about things kind of resolving themselves and working out. Just the timing of this really could not have been any fucking better. We had dinner on a boat.
We did have dinner
in
on a boat.
Paris.
In Paris.
Going by the Eiffel Tower and smaller, such a little bit of
Notre
the
Dame.
Paris signs, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Jokes. And then I proposed. And yeah, the timing just, it worked out perfectly.
He wanted me to cry, and that didn't happen. I'm so sorry.
You did cry a little bit.
I got emotional. I cried later on.
There are pictures.
And then about, I'd say 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after that, I had all my stuff packed and I moved up here.
And that was the first time that her parents met my parents as well.
And they actually got on, didn't they?
They got on pretty well, which
Yeah.
I was about nervous about, because my parents, they're very, very Scottish.
Yeah.
And your parents are very, very English. Very, very northern also. But yeah, that was another thing another kind of hurdle we do over, another kind of milestone. The parents meeting each other as well, and they don't let the house on fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got incredibly lucky, didn't we? Really
Yeah.
did.
Hopefully luck will continue.
I
We'll
think it
soon get our own place, whether we'll be renting or getting our own house. Who knows what happens.
Who knows at this point.
For now, we're just living life as it is together.
Just taking it day by day.
And hoping for the best.
Yep. So far, things have been good. You know, us living together has also brought a new set of difficulties we have to deal with. Because we spent so long apart, and now we're together all the time, pretty much. And that, you know, it's not what it's always been like.
Yeah.
So we had to get used to that.
Yeah, getting used to each other's habits and living patterns and stuff.
Like I bite my nails a lot.
I leave my coat on the bed.
You leave your uniform on the floor. And it does my fucking head
I'm like the dad in the Goldbergs, where as soon as he comes home from work and opens the door, he pulls down his trousers and sits on his chair.
That's exactly what she does. It's disgusting.
That is not exactly what I do, but it's very similar. I get into my pajamas instead. Calm down.
So we asked you for questions, and we got 2
from the same person.
From a lovely friend, Stuart.
Question time with Rantsbicon. I like hot dogs in a bun. Favorite dinosaur?
Whew, now there is a belter of a question. There's so many good ones as well. And so many that have recently been found to be not real. I'm gonna go with, even though I think this is not a real one, but I still think it's pretty rad, Triceratops. Just Power Rangers.
I'm Rebicon. I'm not a Taurus. My favourite dinosaur is a Stegosaurus.
You've been waiting all day to do that, haven't you?
Maybe. So you love me. Stuart also asked tips on being sensible financially with train costs, which is a very good question.
Good question. Do you want to take this one first, or do you want me to?
Yes, I have a rail card. If you are 16 to 25 years old, you can get a rail card for £30 a year, which gives you a third off trains for
planes
for the whole
and
year.
Automobiles?
No, just a train, I'm afraid.
Shit.
For the whole year, which is really beneficial because that saved me a lot of money to go see Richard. It also saved us a lot of money when we were going on little holidays together.
London and York and things like that. Another thing I would say is, to your best ability, plan ahead.
Oh yeah.
Plan weeks, months if you can in advance, because the travel is much cheaper if you're that way. And if you can, occasionally you can book a train with Virgin through Minibus, and it's like a £5 for the actual train ride.
Depending on your location though, so do check that before you book anything.
I got lucky in that with that one. I can get a train to and from Wigan, from Glasgow, and then to Glasgow for £5 each way through Minibus. I don't know if I still do that, but check. But also, just in general, if you know you're going, if you have like a week or a few days where you know you're free to go somewhere and you're going to afford it, then plan ahead and save a ton of money.
Do not leave it to the last minute. My suggestion is the last day you could probably get it cheap is a week before you travel.
At the very
latest.
Like, actually cutting it extremely fine. The most I've paid to travel to go see the Rebecca was like 70 quid, and that was like a week before I knew I was going.
Yeah.
Because I didn't plan ahead. So if you can, do that.
If you're willing to be on a coach for a few hours, I do recommend the Megabus. That's what we used when we first got together.
At first. When you're in Preston anyway. As long as you do plenty of things you occupy, because coaches are mind-numbingly boring. Like download a few podcasts, get Spotify on your phone, or bring a book or something, just something to keep your mind occupied, because you will want to talk yourself if you don't. But it is a good money saver.
Go to the toilet before, because the toilets are disgusting on any coach.
They never work. And don't rely on the Wi-Fi. They say they have it, they don't always have it. Charge your phone as well.
6 times out of 10, the plugs don't work on the coach, so have a portable charger, because you will need to get in touch with your other half to see where they are and where you are and stuff like that. Have food with you as well, because if it's a long journey, you'll need something to eat. Don't do what I did and try and grab a coach with nothing to eat. Don't make tell.
There's a wee story you can tell.
It was like probably one of my last visits. It's not the last
before
visit.
you moved.
Yeah, it's probably one of my last visits. It's probably one of my last visits before I moved. I had to get a coach like somewhat in the afternoon to get back for work the next day, and I hadn't had anything to eat that day, and I was just rushing to get the coach because I was going to be late. And then I run and get on the coach, and we don't leave for another 15 minutes or so, but I wanted to get my seat and get on that coach just to be on the safe side because I could not miss work. About 5 minutes before we leave, this guy comes running on the coach with 2 bags of Doritos and just gives them to me, gives me a kiss on my forehead and says have a safe trip, and then leaves. And that was like the sweetest thing. I'll never forget that.
What can I say? Pretty fucking great. And the last question from Stuart. Follow-up question. Tips on making the perfect ship name for yourselves that will really go the distance.
This is actually quite funny because we had a ship name before we even got together.
Yes, people just kind of gave us one before we had any kind of inclination.
Yeah,
that would be a thing.
A lot of people thought we really clicked that day we met.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were kind of like shipping us really
kind of
hard.
giving it to us.
And we were kind of like secretly, because we didn't know we liked each other at the time, we were kind of like, I like it a lot.
We're like kids, basically. I'll never tell.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't give you any advice on that because it was just kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
It really depends on who you're with.
Yeah.
You know, like some names just kind of mixed with like Brangelina.
Aww.
Well,
don't say that because they're split now.
I just Brad's a bit dirty. Brad, wasn't it you?
Which goes to show having a ship name doesn't mean your relationship will work.
Yeah, that's not a sign of a functional relationship unless you count us. We're amazing.
What matters is your commitment to each other, how willing you are to accept each other's differences and try to learn about each other's interests and just make things fair and help each other grow.
And I'm going to leave you with a bit of meaningful advice, folks. Which no. Like,
it's serious this time.
No, it's serious.
Okay.
And I know you're surprised. Everyone knows that I don't often do serious.
Okay.
Ever. I don't do that. Right, but I've got a genuine bit of like meaningful advice for you. No matter what you may go through with your partner, what difficulties you go through, what problems come up, arguments or whatever, the one true sign that things are going to work out is if you can be in the same room as your partner when they fart. No matter how gross that fart is, it might smell like dog breath. It might smell like a rotten egg left in the sun inside a big wet sock.
It might smell like cheese.
Also cheese. If that doesn't bother you that much, and you still find them attractive, you're going to be fine. Absolutely fine.
He's saying that because I have the worst farts.
It's like someone has died inside your arse. But yeah, that's my genuine advice. Honest to God, advice. Anyone there? Bye. See you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Tits.
Eat donuts.